Hello students, welcome back to lecture 6 of user-defined methods. So today we are going to learn about the calling mechanism. See, already we have learned about passing the parameters to the function or methods. Actually, there are basically two types of calling mechanism that can be used to pass parameter to a methods in Java. These calling mechanisms are based on type of parameters we pass. So the call to function can be of following two types, which you see on the screen, that is call by value and call by reference. Right. So in today's class, we will see what is the difference between these calling mechanism, that is call by value and call by reference. We will first try to understand the difference through an example, and then I will give you the differences in writing also. Okay, so it's a very important concept. Please be very attentive when you listen to this. Fine. So let's go to the example part directly. These are already there. So first check the call by value part. So please concentrate on the first part. I will maximize that little. Yeah. So just analyze this code and try to write the output for this code, what you see on the screen. I'll give you a time of, a minute. Please go through the code and try to write the output. So here basically there are two methods, check and the main. So which method will you execute to get the output? Yes, it will be main method, because in main method, the check method is being called, and whichever method has the calling function, that has to be executed for getting the output. Okay, so you have to execute main for getting the output. Okay, take a minute time to read the question, analyze it, and have some output ready, and then we will discuss what actually the output is and how it is executed. Okay. Okay, the time is up. Let's discuss how it will execute and what will be the output for the question. Right, now here x is declared as 5, right? First of all, you should be clear. You should know the difference between the formal parameter and the actual parameter. In this case, n is the formal parameter, the parameter which is declared in the function header preceded by the data type are called formal parameters. And the variables or the values which are passed while calling the function are called actual parameters or arguments. Right? This was discussed before also. I'm just reminding you once again. Okay. Now, here, when the main method is executed, first you have a variable x is equal to 5 here. And SOPLN, I'm writing in short, it should be system.out.println. but I think you know that. So when you are typing it in BlueJ, please give everything in full form. It should be system.out.println. Okay, so assume that SOPLN is referring to system.out.println. So this statement will print x is equal to 5, right? The value of x is 5. Now check x. What's happening here? You are calling the function checks. So when this statement is executed, the control goes to check method. N will receive the value of x, which is 5. Okay. And when it enters the method check, n is equal to n plus 5. So what is your n value? 5. So 5 plus 5 is 10. So your n will become 10 and n is equal to 10 will be displayed here. N is equal to 10, right? And it is getting closed here. It's stopping there. So the control again comes back to the following statements of the main method, right? And here SOPLN x is equal to plus x again. So this will print x is equal to 5. Yes. So if you execute it, you will see on the terminal window the values as x is equal to 5, then x is equal to 10, and x is equal to 5 again. Right. So what do you observe here? See, any changes you do with formal parameter, within a method has no impact on actual parameter. It remains the same before and after the call. Your x value is same before and after the call to the check method. Right? Any change you do with formal parameter within the method has no impact on actual parameter. It remains same before and after the call. That's why you get the output x is equal to 5 in both the cases. So this is an example of call by value. In call by value, all the primitive data types are passed. Right? So that's the first difference. All primitive data types are passed by value, and that all the primitive data types will behave same way when passed as a parameter. Right? So this is about call by value. So next, let's go to call by reference, which is the second part. Yes. Now again, you can analyze the data for a minute and then we'll discuss it again. So I give you 1 minute time here. Just go through the code carefully. Okay, so let's understand how call by reference works. So all objects are passed by reference. You will see this kind of while passing the objects as parameter, right? All of you know objects. Class, class, class. Once you create a class, you create objects, right? So we can even pass objects as parameters. So in this program, we are passing objects as parameters. Okay. So here, let's go to the main method first. And here, in this program, you have an instance variable A, which is initialized 10. And the two methods, the first one is check accepting object as a parameter. Yes, this is the class name and the object name. So, it has same relation as int has with A when you pass int A, right? Now we are passing the class and the object of the class. So you have similar relation what A has with int and object has with a class, right? The only difference is we are passing objects here. Objects occupy the memory. So here we are passing object means we are passing its address or the reference. Fine. Okay. And in main method, we are creating the object. So let's focus on main method now and we'll do it in a stepwise manner. So what is the significance of this statement? What it does is internally, it will create the object OBJ wherein the variable A will be given the value 10. A will be initialized to 10. If there is no initialization here, then if there is no initialization, one second. Yeah. If A is equal to 10 is not initialized, if it's just declared int A, then A would have been initialized with the default value that is 0. But since A is initialized to 10, it is getting initialized to 10 while creating the object also. Right. So this will take place internally when the first statement is executed. Okay. Now, SOPLN value of A is equal to obj.a. Now, obj.a, this is how you refer any instance variable. You can refer any instance member. It could be a variable or a method through its object, obj.a, for referring a variable. Similarly, we use obj.calc or obj.get for referring the instance method. So obj.a here refers to the value 10, right? Obj.a is referring to the value 10. So it will display 10 here, right? And now we are calling the check method passing the object. This object is nothing but this object. So this is being passed to this. This check obj will call the method check and this ob will receive this obj, right? Now this obj and ob both are referring to the same variable here, right? Ob receives obj. What does it mean? It means it is copying its address. Fine, it is copying its address. Now it goes here, the control goes here, OB receives OBJ, and here what change is taking place? OB dot A. OB is nothing but OBJ now. OB receives OBJ, right? So when I say OB dot A, it is actually referring to the OBJ, the object OBJ. So OB dot A is nothing but 10, right? 10 plus 10 is 20, which is assigned to ob.a. So this change will be reflected in the memory. Now your 10 gets replaced by 20. Fine. It closes here. So the control comes back to this. And here you are displaying the value of a. SOPLN value of a is equal to obj.a. So what is this value now? Obj.a will again refer to this. And the value of a is 20. See, a variable can have only one value. And here, since objects are passed, both the objects, the formal object and the actual object, they are referring to the same memory location. So whatever changes are taking place are reflected in the memory. Therefore, you are getting the answer as 20 now through this object. Okay, so there is a little difference between call by value and call by parameters. Sorry, call by value and call by reference. So this is call by reference. So hope you understood the example. Okay. So basically the difference part is like first point is all primitive data types are passed by value and all objects are passed by reference. That's what you have seen in the program. And the second part is, second difference is any changes you do with formal parameter in the method will not have any impact on actual parameter in case of call by value. Whereas in call by reference, any change you do with formal object, in this case, the formal object is OB. So any change you do with formal object will have an impact and effect on actual object because both are referring to the same memory location. Right? Yeah, that's the second difference. So if you understand these two differences, the other parts are simple. Okay. So please, understand this part very well. You can refer it once again, and then we see the difference between call by value and call by reference, which is given through this tabular column. Tabular table. Okay, I'll just decrease the size. Yeah. So whatever we have seen through the example is tabulated as a difference in this table you see on the screen. Right. So as I told you, the first point, all primitive data types are passed by value. All objects are passed by reference. That's the first difference. Right. Now the second difference is in call by value, the formal parameter receives copy of actual parameter. It receives the copy of actual parameter. A copy, not the address part. Okay. Whereas in call by reference, the formal parameter, that is the formal object, will refer to actual parameter, that is actual object, because the memory location of actual object will be received by the formal object. Okay? Yes. And the third point is any change you do with formal parameter within the method will not have any impact or effect on the actual parameter. The actual parameter before call and after the call remains same. Whereas any changes done with the formal parameter, that is formal object, will have an effect on the actual object because both formal and actual object refer to the same memory location. Because here we pass objects, the reference, the address. Therefore, both formal and actual object will refer to the same memory location. Okay. So this is the difference between call by value and call by reference. So this, since it is a little different topic, I would not like to teach you any other concept today. Please focus on this, and if you get time, please type those code in BlueJ and try to understand the difference through the outputs you see on screen. Right? So that's all for today. Just practice it in BlueJ, that's all. Okay, so with this, we come to the end of today's class. I will stop here. Thank you, children.